Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS Inform. I'm your host, Bill Potter. We are honored once again this week, as we have all the weeks, but we seem to be extending it now that we are in this COVID-19 crisis. State Senator Mark Messmer is joining us, and today we're going to talk more about the state's reaction to the coronavirus pandemic and maybe how that affects some work with legislators, but for the most part, how Hoosiers can get the help they want or what they should do.
Right.
Welcome to the show.
Great to be here. A little change of what we anticipated as session wrapped up, but glad to be coming in and trying to keep people up to date on the state's response, what things we can and have done at the state level, and places where Hoosier businesses and Hoosiers are being proactive in trying to help combat the disease as well.
What are some things that you would like people to know as far as the state is concerned? Because nationally, that's kind of a little different, but for people on the state level.
Right. I mean, the state level, the reality is we are not like the federal government where we can just, pass $1 trillion measures that they don't have to worry about paying for. We are a state with a fixed amount of funds and limits on what we can spend, what we can do. But there's a lot of things we can do to help businesses, help individuals, try to be more proactive. Some of the things that came out in the governor's executive order on Monday, we're going to push the tax due deadlines to July 15th instead of April 15th, moving those out 90 days. I think you'll still, even the filing dates, I think, and a lot of those have been pushed out. I mean, if you've already filed your taxes and you owe, instead of owing on April 15th, you'll have 90 days to comply with that. And the same with your property taxes. Okay. Those statements will go out. They'll be technically due, in May, but there'll be no penalties or interest, if you need more time to pay those as well. So,
but you can pay them by May 10th if you want,
can,
or you
sure.
can pay them. Okay,
absolutely.
Okay. Or you will get. Going back to the income tax, if somebody's got a refund coming, can they go ahead and file it now and hopefully get that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You will get your refunds processed just the same, but if you owe, you can take more time to pay it.
Okay.
And the state's going to help make up any shortfalls that counties see in that interim. So I mean, what are the things we can do? That's something that that we're going to keep the counties protected if they've got shortfalls that they have to bridge in the short term. So the state's going to take care of that. I guess it's nice to have a little bit of extra money in the bank to do that with. But we anticipate as this thing carries on through, we're going to be dipping into those reserves, and who knows what'll be left by this time, next year as our budget cycle is ending up. But so far so good on that. And another thing we've done is waived the waiting period for filing for unemployment. So anybody that's been laid off because of the coronavirus, which is anybody recently that's been laid off, any of the non-essential folks that were required to close this week, they can go to unemployment.in.gov, and there's a link at the bottom left of that page. If you've never filed for unemployment before, you click that, and then you can sign as a new registration. If you filed for unemployment before, you would need your email address and password that you've used previously, but then it'll step you through, and there's no they're making that waiver of time delay, and I think they're making it retroactive back to the beginning of March 8th. So no delay on filing for unemployment and qualifying for those benefits. That's one thing that the state, the things the state can do. The federal government's got supplementary unemployment provisions that they're putting in their bill that should get passed today, but we'll see how that plays out. But your normal unemployment benefits, waiving the time off, the time lapse, and allowing, and really recommending everybody do that online. I mean, you can go in person to the DWD offices if they're open, but they're recommending that everybody take those and process them on the website.
Some people may not have access to a computer, so they'll need to be able to go someplace that does.
Yes.
Okay. So are all state offices closed?
Most are closed. If they provide services that are delivering life necessity services to Hoosiers, DCS. I mean, people that are in the Family Senior Social Services Agency, anything that's delivering processing claims, delivering financial assistance to Hoosiers. Those are all still open, and most of the employees where they can are working from home. I mean, our IT departments went through all of our Senate staff. My secretary is still working; she's just working from home. They set up links on their laptops and things that they could take home and work remotely. So most of them are still working. They're just a lot where they can, they're working remotely, and where they can't, they're working working in their offices with taking precautions for social distancing and all that. But I think most things where people can take care of their registering for their services online, they can. But I mean, some things still just take a person on site, and those are still open.
Now, Indiana was financially secure. Will you still be receiving some funds federally to help with things? Because sometimes there's a burden that's put on states in a situation like this.
I mean, most of the things that we're doing, most of the things that we had financial responsibility for, those things that were funded from the state level, we're taking care of, still with state assets. Only things, all the provisions that were passed, like in the first couple rounds of federal assistance, the first two stimulus packages, one of them required, all small employers to provide 80 hours of sick leave to employees, but that gets paid for, if you're a small employer and you have somebody with COVID-19 and they're off work, you're required to pay them for 2 weeks of work, but you get reimbursed from that through every month when you go online and pay your payroll taxes. It's for the expense of that employee's time off is credited, and it's a refundable credit, and that I think is retroactive back to the entire year. I mean, you can use that credit against what you owe to for your federal income taxes and your Social Security and all that. I mean, those payroll taxes that get paid, if you're required to pay somebody for being off, small employers get reimbursed in whole from the federal government for that. So most of the provisions that are going to be more costly, or all of those are being picked up by the federal government.
And we are under a stay-at-home order from the governor. Which means stay at home.
If you're not going to get food, medicine, or going to work at an essential place of employment, stay home. I mean, we do have public parks and things open that you can go out and walk and exercise, but use good social spacing and I mean, the biggest thing for everybody to remember, and I think we've learned more about this the last 2 or 3 weeks than we probably had forgotten, is just the critical nature of washing your hands. Anytime you touch something that somebody could have touched that's been exposed to the virus, it's going to be on you. Don't touch your face, unless you've washed your hands, and wash your hands more than you think you need to. If you take care of those measures, that's the number one thing you can do to protect yourself. So I would like to comment on some I'll say some proactive steps that Hoosier businesses have done this week as the governor rolled out his stay-at-home order and the restrictions on essential businesses and non-essential businesses. Oh, and I guess under the federal bill, should it pass this afternoon, people that are sole proprietors, independent business owners, that might not even have normally paid into unemployment, they will be eligible for unemployment under the federal program that passes, should it pass today. So there's a lot of people that are maybe hairdressers, nail salons, massage therapists, people that would typically be self-employed individuals. They will qualify for for some coverage going forward. First, for a short term, while we're going through this. But back to the proactive issues. The governor, when he announced his stay-at-home order on Monday, this past week, the IEDC has contacted thousands of businesses across Indiana to find out what Indiana businesses can do to help, services they can provide or things they can do to help combat the epidemic. We've got RV manufacturers and auto manufacturers that are switching their production functions to help make shields and masks and personal protective equipment to help fight the pandemic. Subaru, Heritage Group, and Summit MMI have gathered up thousands of personal protective equipment items and donated those to the state to get distributed out to medical facilities that need additional PPE for their hospital workers. Roche Diagnostics, they're a big test manufacturing company in Indianapolis. Their international headquarters is here. They were the first company to get tests for the COVID-19 virus adopted, and they are pushing out into the market 400,000 test kits a week, out into the to the hospitals and labs and places across the country, and helping process those quicker. Obviously, one of the keys to keeping the spread from expanding is get tested, and if you're test positive, most people will isolate at home. But more testing is a key to identifying people that are sick. Eli Lilly has been approved, by the FDA to do more extensive testing on the virus itself, and has been a key player in that. Places like Monkey Hollow Winery, Hotel Tango, and Cardinal Spirits have gone into the production of hand sanitizers. And I saw Jasper Chamber of Commerce had Nancy Eckerly had posted yesterday the Monkey Hollow hand sanitizers that they're producing for the market, to help protect folks. So if there's things that you think you can do to help contribute to the fight as a business owner or individual, email covidresponse@iedc.in.gov and tell them where you think you can help. And we've had a lot of good, proactive, creative, people across the state, that are, taking lead roles and helping fight the epidemic. And if there's anything people need help with, I might not have the federal, authority or federal answers for you, but I've got the contacts to help get answers for you if it's a federal issue you need help with. If it's a state level agency, my staff or myself can intervene directly. And the best way right now, since my secretary is working remotely, is to contact the senator.messmer@iga.in.gov email address. That'll get to either me or my staff, and we'll help process those problems. And a lot of people know how to contact me at home or at work or on my cell. I'm just accessible to try to be a resource for folks to help do what we can.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and talking about COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure you're washing your hands, keeping your social distance. That's why today's program, we are separated way more than we normally are. We won't shake hands. Just make sure, folks, that you stay healthy. Wash your hands, keep your social distance, and do more at home with your family. Thank you, Senator, for coming in.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching 18 WJTS. We're local people watching local people stay healthy.